What's popular, YouTube? Another day, another demo, and this one has been cooking for some time. Me and magixx have been visiting each other's stream, hosting each other, been quietly watching in the wings as he wins FPL, as he shouts me out at DreamHack Masters at the tail end of 2020, as he's consistently been a feature of the new Team Spirit. Team Spirit with the new logo, Team Spirit with the hot roster, with Mir playing the best CS of his life, Dexter, one of the highest rated players on LAN, SDY, who turned down the opportunity to play on NAVI, allegedly. I think that might be a rumor. I don't know. And me and Team Spirit have gone back, actually. Okay, we've gone way back for some time outside of the game. Okay, what's actually funny about this is that there is this guy right here, Constantine. Okay, I was walking around at Blast Moscow in 2019 or 2018, and there was somebody at the after party in Blast Moscow that was wearing one of the boxer hoodies. Those of you who don't know, we have a clothing store. Okay, and there's a new release coming soon. And our graveyard are items that are sold out that are no longer in stock. But sometimes we bring back things from the graveyard. But then they go here so we can remember them. Okay, gone but not forgotten. And the Oni was actually a sweater that Constantine was wearing at Blast Moscow, walking around, and I had never met him. And then after the second time that I saw him walking around at the after party, I was like, is that a boxer hoodie? Because I'm in Moscow, right? This is crazy. And he was like, yeah, I'm a big fan. And I was like, oh, shit. That's really cool. You got like, and these hoodies, everything was very limited release. So you had to buy them within the first couple of days. So it was really random. And then he said he worked at Nike. So I was like, oh, cool. He's like, worked at Nike, and he's now, and he's like at an esports after party. I was like, oh, it's pretty sick. And now he's in charge of marketing at Team Spirit. Bingo, bango, bongo. Spirit, get a Nike collab. Look at the merch. Can I get a cheese? The shoes even. There better be a care package coming my way. I mean, for reals. I need this. It's actually nice as fuck, right? So that's the story of the day. I met Constantine. Now he works at Team Spirit, and he's joined the dark side. He's here with us in esports, helping to make esports cool. Finally, someone can help us make this shit look cool. No more light up cars Crocs. Nike. So here we are to watch magixx, one of the very best Dust 2 long anchors on the world, play T-side versus NAVI, while Simple gets 135 ADR, well, on the other side. This match was not easy, but magixx was at the forefront of making this possible. 1.67 rating, 100% KAST, and a 2.21 rating specifically on the T side. So let's see about the entries. Looks like the dynamic duo of the day was magixx and Dexter. We are about to hop into the match. Magixx has actually not played on any other team in his career. He has a single team that he's played on since 2019. And that's Spirit. Of course, he's played on other teams, but no one notable in the HLTV rankings. And since he's joined, they've, of course, only gotten better. And the team, actually, as a whole, is a pretty cool unit. They're very consistent overall in terms of their ranking. They've kind of floated. And I think at the beginning of 2020, there was the idea that with Gambit, with Spirit, and with Virtus Pro, that it was going to become the CIS era. And in some ways, it kind of still is, because Navi and Gambit are top two and prove to be the most consistent of the lot. But, Virtus Pro is still here, and Spirit haven't necessarily got worse. They just didn't break into the top 5 in the same way that these other teams have. But these guys are, of course, still some of the scariest players in CS right now, and some of the bigger talents in the game, and are potentially waiting to be able to break into the top 5. But even at IEM Cologne, which was very unfortunate for Team Spirit, because they ended up having to play their last matches from, I think, magixx and Dexter, I think, had to play from their hotel rooms, if I'm not mistaken, for their game. So they didn't even really get to play with a full LAN experience, which was really unfortunate. But Dexter himself, in terms of the stats, at least, from what I remember, over the 6 maps he played, 1.34 rating. Insane stuff from him. So it's a shame that we didn't get the full Team Spirit experience, but clearly this team has a lot to show. So why don't we hop into the game and talk a little bit about the T-side entries and talk about how to find gaps on the T-side and what makes you better than others on the T-side of Dust 2. Of course, as always, I've got to preface the conversation with Dust 2 sometimes is talking about, how, like, very, very simple things, and what can determine the difference between really good teams and great teams is just very nuanced stuff that can be hard to pick up on. So here's a spot, for example, where the best spawn goes out long, but then magixx comes out to come and trade. And I noticed, actually, that Team Spirit had a couple of setups with a player at blue bin and a player inside the door where they set traps, and they did interesting things to set traps for some of the pushes that come through. And we can see right now magixx is being, of course, very attentive to the idea that someone can peek long. And he's actually holding for a crouch peek here, which is also pretty interesting. So we'll see what happens from this point in the round, but this is the outpost of Dust 2. If you have somebody on long control or one person on cat control and the rest of your team on long or the rest of your team on cat, then the one player who's alive has an outpost. That A site is completely fucked if there's no way to take back the map control. So the idea for magixx is, of course, if they put pressure on cat, he might expect him to try to push up towards long. So he's got to be aware, but he's going to try to shut down their squeeze towards long or to be a part of the push. And of course, Boomich here just gets completely destroyed. And even though Electronic gets him on a kill, they killed Simple and they have full info on where he was. So right here, magixx calls car, and then boom, they skip the ramp angles, they push right into him. And you have to understand that that makes a really big difference in whether or not you're actually going to get the kill. That quick calm and the fact that Electronic knows that as soon as he kills magixx, even though I got the kill, magixx is going to he's going to snitch. He's going to rat me out to the principal. You know what I mean? He's going to slide my name under the door. I have to go and do something crazy quickly. But with that much map control that early, there's not much you can do to deny it. You have to just realize that they're going to be running up cat and you're going to be spotted and called out, and you're going to have to take a fight you don't want. So again, a lot of stuff is going to be quite spawn based. This is a very T-sided way to take this fight. So if you smoked a long corner and you jump out to blue bin and you sit, hold the right side of the smoke, wait for the push, then just, denying people from getting over to pit is nice. And here's a spot where the boost comes into play. So this is like a default at its very best. I would love to know if magixx tried to press E to pick that up. Okay, I think he tried. He must have tried now that he went and grabbed it. Nobody's arms are that long. I actually, a long time ago, I worked at Armani Exchange when I was in university. And it was during Linsanity. And why that's relevant is because Jeremy Lin and his teammates came into Armani Exchange. And they were wearing NBA clothes, but they had their hoods on and stuff, so people wouldn't recognize them. But they had like NBA socks pulled up to their knees, so everyone knew they were in NBA. And obviously, they were taller than everybody. And they were walking around our Armani Exchange, like pretending that no one could know who they were. But obviously, not too many Asian players in the NBA. So I was like, "You're Jeremy Lin." He's like, "Yeah, I'm Jeremy Lin." And I was like, "Can I measure your arms with my arms?" And he said, Okay, why? I was like, I just always want to know if I have really long arms, and I've always wanted to know if my arms are so long for someone my height. And then I measured my arms against Jeremy Lin's arms, and I'm not joking, my arms are the exact same length as Jeremy Lin's. So if anybody ever asks you, you know, how long are Launders' arms, you can say with confidence, as long as Jeremy Lin's. Back to the game. A couple of beautiful entries. 3 rounds in a row that we've been attacking long. And of course, this is what it comes down to. How good are you at swinging to blue bin and killing the guy in pit? And then how careful are you when it comes to making sure the guy, whoever's on the corner, doesn't kill you or flash you with a teammate? Okay. So let's move forward and see what happens on the next round. It's actually already a lot more interesting than I thought it'd be for, you know, Dust 2, for how simple it is. And for what I know about magixx, of course, is that he is a long anchor on the CT side. And I think he scored over 100 ADR in the second half, but I'm here to watch the T side. And you can see the specific way he cleared that for anybody holding on the right side of Cat. This is a door hinge smoke. Usually try to get out of there as soon as you throw it because people spam it. And Dust 2 is all about being tactful, right? When you're playing versus the best team in the world on Dust 2, it's just about being as incredibly careful about every little detail as possible because there's not enough broad strokes about the map to help you separate yourself from your opponents. Oh, Jesus. Okay, well, you know, that really helps take the edge off when you have someone like magixx swinging up Dust on Cat and getting 2 entry kills like that. Like, of course, if you're sitting on top of single, you can't fall back, but you also have a big advantage to fight anybody coming off Cat. So, yeah, that makes life a little bit easier. So you can kind of feel it. That's, you know, magixx, he's in the zone right now. That's some pretty ridiculous stuff. But you can see that in terms of the pacing of the round, when he's, you know, in lower looking up on Cat, he's being very careful about how he peeks and how he jumps up and stuff. And then as soon as you collect the right amount of map control and your team makes a decision, and everybody's moving really well right now. As soon as you decide it's time to explode, you have to start running, right? It is about the explosion as opposed to being careful like you were in that default. And understanding when you're supposed to move slowly and when you need to go like explode and take that risk is what will also define whether or not you're going to win the round, because your flashes are not going to blind your teammate or blind your opponents for 4 seconds every time. Your smokes are going to get used against you if you don't move fast enough. Part of the deal of Counter-Strike is grabbing control, maintaining tension, like a Russian grandmaster in chess would tell you. And then once you build up enough tension and you let loose a little bit, to completely let loose and totally explode. So here mid B is another example of that. All right, so let's talk about this position right now. So it's a significant amount of map control here for the T side, but it's very scary to be out here as a T right now. Now, they don't know if anyone's boosted on the double in CT spawn, but they don't feel like they are. There is a player in the B site right now, and normally the protocol is if you're sitting on B, you lose mid B, you do one of 2 things. You smoke door, molly window, or molly door, peak window, or you push upper tunnels with 2 teammates, or you push upper tunnels by yourself if you're by yourself. But the one thing you don't do necessarily is sit and wait. With this much control of the map, it's obviously very scary for the CTs. Now, that being said, this smoke isn't going to last forever in spawn, and you can get shot over top of it. People can boost in spawn as well. So there is some risks here. And when the smoke finally does come up, of course, you have to have made a move already, because it's not safe to be outside of the window or in the spot. So Chopper here, I imagine, he's got a flash, and eventually they'll need to come in. They can leave a lurk in mid, so Chopper could sit here, for example. But in his position, he has a great way to flash everybody into the site. Same can be said for whoever is in tunnels. And this molly is really important. That lands, it covers the most amount of area possible. So you don't have to clear underneath you. And they're trying to get into the site. And I think in this spot, I don't actually know what happened, if they got how they got counter flashed. Oh, but the position falls apart. Okay. The counter nades end up working out well. They threw some sick counter flash, either from outside the door. I actually have no idea where that flash came from. But they got completely blind trying to get in. So whatever the timing was really nice. And the bomb gets dropped outside site, so Dexter will have to go get it back, and he does find it. Okay. They salvage a really testy situation. But yeah, you could see when you're out there, it's great to have that control, and it's really great to maintain tension. That's good. You have to recognize when you have that ability, because the more tension possible, the more mistakes will be made by your opponents. As long as you can hold it, right? If you're in control of it. If you create tension and you don't know it, it's useless. Because then you're going to do something stupid, because you feel like you're the one who is put in a tense position. But if you can create tension and hold it, and you can agree with your teammate to watch this, and you will watch this, and someone will flash at this timing, and you're comfortable, and you can focus on your aim, then your opponents are going to be the ones to make a mistake. And I think that's the really important part about when you can hold map control, especially that far out, like out all over mid and outside B, and you're on a timer. We'll see they're setting up the op for a pick onto the site, but we saw magixx was doing a lot of the entry work in these previous rounds on the T side, and Simple will grab that kill but fall back. So here's the setup smoke from magixx, and this is what people use to line. Well, they'll use it so that they smokes the cross on cat, and it also allows you to stand in certain positions to throw your own smoke so that you can do a full exec on cat, or your own mall. You can use it to set up all of your mollies and your flashes and your smokes. So it's just a really important part of an execute. So everyone should know this smoke. But this is a sign, of course, that they are going to get going. But it's actually a fake this time into CT spawn. magixx will actually just jump across, and oh my god, no way. That's an enormous entry. I mean, first of all, he has 1 HP. There's only one player left. Perfecto has a 1v3 from Car. That was an insane entry. Holy hell. That's an FPL winning entry right there that magixx just got. And don't overthink fakes, okay? Well, on Dust 2, when you have cat and when you have mid, faking is something you should do a lot. On some maps, you might go an entire half without throwing a single fake. You know, there are entire Inferno T-halves, entire, no, Nuke, there are probably more fakes. There are entire halves of maps that teams can go without throwing fakes. But on Dust 2, it is totally common to throw a light exec for a fake, a heavy exec for a fake, fakes all the time. And actually part of the reason too is because let's say you throw an exec off cat, there's just so many ways you can fake, and the rotation is so fast. So if you're on cat and you throw nades, let's say you throw a CT smoke on Dust 2, and then you throw the setup smoke on Dust 2, and you molly Goose, and you flash, and then whatever. Then the number of things that can happen to you are someone could drop CT spawn and go into CT spawn. Someone could drop CT spawn and run up to long. The team could do a full 5 cat exec. A team could jump out mid and then clear out CT spawn and run mid B off that fake. A team could throw that nade set, leave one person mid doors, and go 4 into B, because that one CT spawn smoke is enough to allow you to go both A or B. So that's why cat control does you a ton of favors on the T side. Holy shit. That was a pre-fire to the crouch peak deagle. That was there. It was actually there. Oh my god. It's been honestly nothing but headshots. Wow. Okay. SDY helps with that one. It's a pretty ridiculous game so far, aim-wise. That the aim style is so calm too. So we're gonna try it again. And okay, so this is a nice. I mean, it's a nice move by Perfecto. So this is actually an instructive moment to talk about entrying. So just remember the angles, like the way that magixx decided to clear his angles. He didn't clear every single angle, just a few, the ones that he thought someone would be in. But there's Perfecto, and that's technically an off angle, right? Because no one clears a close double stack that way, the way that Perfecto is peeking it. So people will always clear the top of it, especially when it's an eco round. So in that way, the way that Perfecto played that with the deagle is actually really smart. It kind of plays off the idea that, okay, they know we're on pistols. We probably play like this normally. It could be on top of the double stack. But in general, when you're entrying, there is no perfect entry. Like, you can't clear every angle on every round that you're entrying. When you're entrying, you're clearing half of the angles, and you're picking the angles you think your opponents are going to play in because of the demos you watched or because of the heat maps you looked at, and then you're going to make an educated guess based on what you think they're going to do. And their job is to be fresh, right? To try to be somewhere where you don't expect them to be. And that's the game that gets played between the sight holder and the entryer. And there's a good example of how, like, a spot like that from... Ooh. Okay, the fast cap plays. It tries to get countered, but it actually goes up. It's up material here for Team Spirit, so this is a fine position to be in, of course. And they see this nade, but it could be a fallback nade from CT spawn. So let's see how Spirit play off of this. They just go through with the full-on exec, it looks like, and they have the molly on the ramp. And holy smokes, Beer just jumps into spawn. Last person left on the site. The confidence is so high right now for Team Spirit. Okay. What happened to Mir? Mir is having an unbelievable year. This is the B push shut down and bit in the exact same angle, actually. Okay, so this is apparently a Navi favorite. Force him straight to his teammate. Let's go and look at this next round. See how good that angle is? Now, you should always do that. If you know you're going to queue into... you're queuing FPL into magixx on Dust 2, just sit there. Just literally sit there with any gun. That's the #1 angle he hates. You know, there's one situation where it's not hard movement, but it's good movement. And jumping out backwards is faster than turning around and jumping, right? And in a situation where you're trying to smoke the door hinge, literally everybody and their grandmama is going to spam that. How are you getting these kills, magixx? What the hell? I don't even know. I watch these demos so that people can learn how to play, but you're not going to learn anything from that. And in fact, it might give you the false confidence that you can do this, but you can't. You actually can't do this. I thought 1 or 2 crazy rounds would have been enough, but you've already seen too many. I think we're jumping spawn, right? No, okay. Thought he was going to do it. Setup smoke allows for this one way that you can use to peek the ramp and peek car and whatever. And you know what? Everybody knows this setup smoke has a one way on the right side, but people will still die to it. So why not? Okay. Sometimes you don't get the kill, but it's 4v2. But it's still a one way for you, so you have an advantage. Even if someone sees you, you'll still be able to see them first. It's actually just on the CTs to make sure. You see that smoke, don't peek it. Or pre-fire it if you're on CT side. Alright, so this is a B exec, and this is so you don't have to worry about tunnels, which is really important, of course. You don't see deep into the tunnels. But it's an off angle. And it's not right outside the tunnels, because if there's a big flank, then you get shot in the back of the head. So you don't have to worry about that. This is up against the wall. And you can see how that serves really, really well. Okay. On to the next round. What is this? 11-0. First Navi. This is at the CIS RMR. We're phasing the smoke. Again, so for people who don't know, if you sit in a smoke and it's fading, then you have an advantage versus the person that's waiting for you. Don't fuck it up by moving too much, because then they'll be able to notice you more easily. But phasing smoke's a powerful way to peek an angle that you couldn't peek normally, or to scare a CT who's holding a smoke. I think I've specifically talked about this angle before. So let's see if they do the full mid B. Smallies to go behind double stack, and then they just go out very quickly. Here you can get spotted over top of the smoke. Oh my god, dude. No one can kill him. That's so not easy. That's just so not easy. That's so not easy. That's so not easy, man. That is so not easy. That's annoying. You can't even teach that. He didn't even need the other kill. That's the worst part of it all. Let's go movie mode. How does he keep getting the entry over and over again? His team isn't even with him this time. I don't even know. They left middle. They're here to go through the tunnels. Yeah, we're going to have to get the aim routine afterwards. Literally, I don't know, man. Almost every single kill was a headshot. This half is nearly wrapped off these entries. Specifically, these ones towards mid B are so hard. Like, the CT's pushing out of the window and stuff is very meta at the moment because it is, you know, it's obviously very overpowering if the T's get in. It feels like it actually, back in the day, people didn't peek out of the window. They peeked out of the window really early on in CS, and then they would peek the door and stuff. And then later on, people stopped doing that as much and started using utility to delay as long as possible and didn't peek out. But now people are like peeking the window regularly. So, of course, everybody is ready for it, but at the same time, it's not an easy shot to hit when you're on the T side. I think that's the part of the reason the CT started doing it so much. But yeah, these double entries, I mean, that's like, what can you say? Like, there's nothing you can do, especially with all the mid-B control on T side. Let's see if Dexter can win this round. 1-on-2 situation. I mean, surely this isn't a 14-0, right? Oh? Oh, he has him outside. Oh my god, and he can plant. Now he's winning. Oh, why? Oh, no way. I didn't even know, but like, I knew. Come on. Surely he wasn't going to push in again. That was a free plant as far as I'm concerned. Out the door. magixx opping now. Could have been the quick 16-0. Having a bit of fun now. Oops, I'm over the demo or over the radar. Excuse me. Oh, okay. And here again, it's just about being careful because you're not with anybody, but you can be an important spot. Okay, he has no desire to go towards long. I don't know if there's a change of plans here, if they're going to fake in this round as well. We'll see. They get the mid rotator, and so this is the James special. Sit on middle and hold for rotations. Everybody rotating across from mid B. It has to be understood how incredibly powerful this line is. It is so hard to get by. I think there was an unlucky bad we did with Stewie versus Virtus Pro, where he just got killed rotating every single round. And that's just because middle of the map control is so insanely powerful like this. With this kill, it just slows things down like tremendously. And it looks like we've got an opera on our hands. 14 seconds. You can try to secure this plant. They know. Oh my god, we have an opera. We have an opera. Other one was towards B. Off cat. Make it a 3-piece. No biscuit. Hit him with the Cajun fries. Oh. There's his head again. Oh my god. Oh, come on. Of course Perfecto had to pull off the 1v2 after what was a really great round, but it's not like they didn't do enough this half. 13-2. They had to throw Navi a bone. Oh, it was too easy. Damn, what a game that was. I gotta start taking more recommendations from the players themselves. magixx was like, you should watch this game. Now we know why. That was some sharpshooting. Let's go admire the stats again, just to see how nuts that was. Let's see for the CT side from the other perspective. Basically, everyone was getting the dick. That's too much. 100% KAST. That speaks for itself. I think there are still a lot of players that we have to look at. I think actually a couple more Spirit players from Team Spirit. A follow-up on Mir. Finally, a follow-up on Dexter, actually, too. Because we did a video on Dexter a long time ago. And then two of the Gambit players. I think Axel I've uploaded, but I've watched recently, but not uploaded. Shiro I've uploaded a long time ago, but not watched recently. And then after that, I think it's anyone's game. There's still so many demos to watch. And the player break is ending soon. As soon as it started, it's almost over. We're almost halfway through. So CS is going to start up again. So in this break, I really want to use this time to get as many demos out as possible on just the random stuff that we missed. Because there's so much CS. And I think it'd be a waste to just basically forget about all of the things that's happened in the past and try to maximize it because, yeah, I mean, people are showing up and playing the best games of their life and they're going unnoticed because there's so many games. So why don't we take a second look at the demos? Part of the reason we do these. So I hope you enjoyed that and see you again for another demo soon.